uh, my strategy. As you know, I'm running the grassroots. I'm an ordinary man, just like the average man in America. I come from uh, the working class. I have the same struggles as everyday people do. I've been through a lot in my life. I'm going to be very transparent. For me to get the people to believe in me, I have to be transparent about my whole life. My life is built on a lot of pain and a lot of mishaps, and those pains that I went through, how I got knocked down, and how I got back up is what made me the man I am today. And I definitely will fight for this, each and every one of you. I think we have to make a lot of changes. I think there's a lot of corruption that we have to change, but I don't want to sit here and attack no former president or current president or any senators or congressmen or governors or anything like that, because it's senseless to do that. All I know is we've been getting the same format for the last 40 years from government. And it's tired, it's old, and it's time for a change. No independent has ever even came close to winning, because the red and the blue, Democrats and Republicans, they shut us down because you want to know the truth. I believe they're afraid of us. They know that we're the ones that are going to carry the truth. We're going to one that's going to be transparent. We're the one that's going to go in and we're really going to fix things. Where they just want to get up on a podium and they just want to tell you a bunch of stuff, make a bunch of empty promises, and do nothing. Now, I don't know if anybody, I'm sure most of everybody in the country here has been following what's going on the last couple of days in Iran. I mean, I'm not taking sides with anybody. I do know this. If they were trying to build nuclear weapons, as much as they dislike this country, I would only assume that we were their target. So, out of the respect for all parties, it's my opinion that we moved the right way. And I think I'm pretty confident to say I might have moved the same way. That was a major threat. And you can't take a chance. The problem, we can't risk that. So, in that aspect, they've hated us for 47 years. They've oppressed their people for 47 years. Let's just be happy that he's gone. God rest his soul. And that the Iranian people are free. And hopefully they go in the right direction. And we can get our troops home safely now. Let's wrap it up. Get us home. And apparently, from what we're reading, is the Iranian people made apologies to their other countries surrounding around them, made public apologies. If that's all true, then peace has started. Let's let them enjoy their peace that they haven't had for 47 years. And that's all I really want to touch on that. Um, my campaign is built on grassroots. The only way I'm going to get anywhere growing in this is my whole campaign is built on my life experiences. People are going to ask, can you make a leader? Can you make a good leader? What makes you a good leader? Okay. There's going to be a lot of questions like that, and I'm prepared to answer. I don't know. I got a lot to learn about government. I've never been a politician. Like I said, I've been an average working person who has struggled. I've been homeless. I was an addict for over 36 years. A disease I had that I couldn't shake. That I prayed to God every day. I've been on food stamps. I've never been around the rich or ever been rich with money. I come from a broken home. I was in the streets of Chicago since I was 9 years old. And Major League Baseball saved my life by giving me a job at Wrigley Field as a Major League bat boy. I was 17 when I had my first child. When my father left home when I was 6 years old, I became the father to my brothers and sisters. I started shining shoes at 9 years old, mopping floors for $1 an hour in my neighborhood. I hustled to bring home diapers and food for my sister. I have integrity. I have honor. And I have good intentions. People are going to say, why should we trust someone and I've also been to federal prison just recently. I made a false statement to a federal agent. And I paid my debt to society. My wife was the one she was the one that got the harsh of it. My wife was convicted of FEMA fraud. And we're going to be very transparent here because it's important. We've turned our whole life around. My wife has got a degree in theology. She's actually a pastor, minister. She's back in school right now trying to get her paralegal degree, amongst another other degrees other degrees she wants to get. My wife is very intelligent, and she made some mistakes in her life. We're both drug free. I quit alcohol in 2008. I've been sober from alcohol since 2008. I wasn't a big drinker. I struggled my whole life. Like I said, I was a father at 17, and I raised my brothers and sisters since I was 10. My father didn't care to help any of us, and I lost the best people that I cherished the most in my life. By the time I was 14, was my grandparents, my father's parents. I come from a split family. I come with people that worked on the Chicago Police Department. My grandfather was a Chicago cop. My father was a bad cop. My uncles was a cop. Three of my cousins, and my mother's side, they were all city employees working under the daily administration in various departments. And I also had some undesirable cousins and uncles that were, just to say, organized crime. So Sunday dinners at grandma's house was fun because that's when everybody had to get along. You know, there was no fighting with the police or the mafia guys. It was, you get a wooden spoon if you don't all act accordingly. And it was a peaceful Sunday dinner, which I miss. I know what it's like to go to prison, and I know there's no real prison reform. So I know what I'm talking about there, and I know if I get in office, the prison reform bill that I built will work. It will lower recidivism by a lot. Crime will go down in the first 4 years by 30%, and I'm talking about real structure, not just some, let's add this, let's adjust this, let's do that, let's fund this, but take this away. No, I'm talking a complete package of what has to be done. Now, this is all in the works over the last couple of weeks, so I have everything in order. I would read some of it to you. Uh, I have new files that I'm going to pull up that I want to go over with you guys. These are things that are vitally important to this for this to work. And when I was talking about it the other day, a lot of people, when I was live on YouTube, you got to understand, I have I have two people I have to be each day. I'm running for the president's job in the United States of America, so I have a loyalty to all the American people. But I also have a podcast before I decided to run for president, and that's kind of a little unorthodox podcast of a bunch of crazy old people that are old Howard Stern employees and comedians, and they're not nice people, and they're trolls, and so I have to separate the two because I have Catalano TV on YouTube, and my name is Joey C. It's my real name. I go by Joey C. And I'm one of the Dabbleverse figures. If you look up the Dabbleverse, you'll see how much of a key instrument I am to that part of YouTube. My streams are toxic at times. It's a lot of fighting, a lot of arguing, a lot of making fun, a lot of people coming after me. I'm going after them, but it's all fun and games. It's all satire, and it took me a long time to understand it because I really wasn't a person of humor. I was always very serious because I had to work. I didn't have clothes on my back. I had to feed myself. I had to take care of my brothers and sisters. My mother couldn't do nothing. My mother taught me a lot of things. I came home with my first black eye in fourth grade, and she asked me what happened. I lied to her and told her I fell down the stairs at school. She told me I was a liar, and I better tell her the truth. So I told her I fell down the stairs. She said, "I'll tell you what. You tell me the truth, and then we're going to go fix this problem." So I tell her the truth, and she drags me 2.5 blocks by my ear down to this boy's house that bullied me and hit me and gave me a black eye. And she knocked on the door. My mother was very aggressive, very strong woman. My mother wasn't a sensitive type. And my mother began to teach me how to be a man. And she told me, "You have two choices here." First of all, she knocked on the door. She told the mother, "Tell your son to come out here. He's going to fight my son. He wants to bully him. Well, my son's here to come and face it down." And the mother goes, "What are you talking about? My son ain't no bully. Your son bullied my son. He's a tough guy when he's away from his house. Now my son's prepared to fight him." And I said, "Ma, I don't want to fight him." She said, "What did you say?" I said, "I'm not going to fight him, Mom." She goes, "Here's the choice you have. Choice A, you fight him and you beat him, and I'll tell you when to stop. Or two, I drag you 2.5 blocks and I give you a beating all the way home. Which one do you want?" Like, hands to God, that's what my mother told me. She said, "Listen, let me tell you something. You're never going to be no 6'4" man, buff body, strong, where people respect you. You're going to be a little short Italian where people are going to take a piece of your rear end every day if you allow that. You must be a leader. You must be strong. You must lead by example, and you must do a good job. I'm sorry that the life that you've had because your father decided to run out on us. I've done the best I can. I took a lot of beatings from my mother. Matter of fact, I took all the beatings from my family, my brothers, my sisters. When my mother was angry with them, my mother would take aggression out because she loved my father so much that she would take it out on her kids. She was a young mother, but she was not the worst mother. So I took all the beatings from my brothers and sisters. I put my sister in the closet and locked the door and told her not to come out. And I let my mother whip me. I do the same for my brother. I grew up. I went from 10 years old to about 20 years old without having no teenage years. In high school, I started at 4'11". Uh, but like I said, by the time I started high school, I started a great job at Wrigley Field as a major league bat boy in the visiting clubhouse, which I got to work with all the great baseball players of that era: Pete Rose, Johnny Bench, Gary Carter. The list goes on. And I wore every visiting team's bat boy uniform while I did my job at Wrigley Field. And I lived 4 blocks from Wrigley Field, and it was a thing that saved me because I would have been probably in a gang or maybe even killed by the time I was 17 or 18. And I'm talking a street gang, not no organized crime gang. I'm talking just a bunch of unwild cowboys that they just committed bad crimes on the street, and I was on my road to that road. But I wasn't the worst kid. I never disrespected my elders. I always helped all the elderly people in the neighborhood. So there was a lot of good in me, and I would hustle. I'd go to the old ladies in the neighborhood and say, "You want your lawn cut? You want me to shovel your snow?" I'd even work for the back in the day. You get the 8 pack of pop bottles, 10 cents per piece, to take them back to the store. And I told them they could pay me in those, and I would collect pop bottles so I get enough to go store. But I played baseball very well, and I made good money in the neighborhood. I shined shoes. I did good. I had my own route. I have a similar story that uh, another former young shoe shine boy who became a big time mobster in Chicago, who was a shoe shine boy. Uh, this is how another guy met him. They both were shoe shine kids, and they fought over territory. I had that happen to me once. Someone tried to come in my bars, and I kind of uh, stood up for my ground, and because my mother had taught me to don't let nobody take nothing from you. You fight for your rights. You have to fight for yourself. If you don't now, if you don't do this now and learn to be a leader, everybody's gonna take a piece of you, and you're gonna be nothing. Just people are gonna just use you and walk all over you. So I'm grateful for all that because my mother did make me a leader. But I was my own worst nightmare. I did things to myself that were ridiculous. I was lost. I was hurt because my father left us, and I just couldn't imagine because my grandparents were so good, and I never got a chance to live into my adulthood when they were around because if my grandfather would have been around, he was a Chicago police officer, a homicide detective. My grandfather was forced to retire early. Well, not early, but he was 61, but he had already had 30 something years in. I think at 61 he had 38 years in, I believe, and he started out in the 19 either late 1940s or early 1950s as a motorcycle ticket writing cop on a Harley. He rode the Harley division, and then he became a homicide detective, where he was also personal driver to James O'Grady, the superintendent of the police department. Later on became the sheriff of Cook County. Um, my father was a very, very, very bad man, corrupt, very bad. He did things to people. The stories I've heard when I became an adult, hanging out in cop bars or just neighborhood bars, he wasn't a well liked guy. My father My father either went as far as his own partner and him had a shootout in February of 1979 on Irving Park Road during Stoke. They were both on snow command duty. Blizzard come down. That's where the Chicago cops would block the streets for the snowplows to go. And him and his own partner had a shootout against each other because my father had found out his partner had slept with his wife and got her pregnant. And she divorced my dad and married this other man. And then she went back to my father years later and married him. And then they divorced again and married a third time. It was a charm, and they were doing good, but she passed away at 58. My father woke up and told me that he looked over and knew right away she was dead. Um, I guess she took some medication. My father was an addict on pills, and he kept all kind of pills around. Apparently, she took some pills out of the medicine cabinet, and I believe in my heart she wanted to go because 10 years to the date, she lost her daughter, my stepsister Kimmy, at 23. Kimmy had found out she got terminally ill cancer, uterus cancer, and she was excessively drinking and doing drugs, and she just gave up in life. And her mother couldn't take it. She couldn't live with the grief, and she left this world at 58. And it's the only time I ever saw my father cry because he really loved that woman. He didn't love my mother, but he loved that woman. It kind of hurt too. But I was a man at 35. I asked my father, "What did I do something wrong? Did my brothers do something to my mom?" And he looked at me and said, "Grow up. That's old news. Don't be asking me questions like that. What's the difference?" I said, "I just need to know. Did I do something wrong? Did you not love us? What was?" And he just kept rambling on. He was like I was my fault for asking these questions, and he was the victim, not me. And so I got really hurt. And as a grown man, I was probably 35. So my dad was born in 47. I was born in 65. So I was 35. My dad was 52, 53. And I mean it. He looked me dead in the eye and told me to get over it. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it. What is wrong with my father? Why is he saying this to me? He hurt me so bad. I left there so frustrated. I talked to him for a year, and the rest is history. When he became open decrepit, he was delusional. He says, "I know you want to beat me up. Go ahead and beat me up. Go beat me." Are we live still? I don't even know what happened here. I don't even know what the heck happened. Hello, am I still live, people? I don't know. I don't see nothing live. Oh yeah, we're still live. Sorry. Okay, good. I lost the feed for a minute. I thought. I apologize. All right, there we go. I'm back. I'm back. One member in call. Okay. Hello.
Hello.
Oh, that's me. How does that
How did that
happen?
happen?
I'm new to
I'm
this.
new to this.
Wow,
Wow,
that's
that's
wild.
that's funny.
I
I
guess
guess
you
you
gotta
gotta
have
have
a
a
sense
sense
of
of
humor.
humor.
All
All
right,
right,
we
we
gotta
gotta
get
get
rid
rid
of
of
this
this
guy.
guy.
How do I do it? I
I
have
have
no
no
idea.
idea.
Oh,
Oh,
this
this
is
is
hilarious.
hilarious.
Ugh. How
How
do
do
I
I
get
get
rid
rid
of
of
this
this
guy?
guy?
I got
I got
no one
no
else.
one else.
I'm
I mean,
talking to
talking to
myself, I
myself,
guess.
I guess.
All right. Do I get rid of this guy?
Right
Right here,
here,
maybe?
maybe.
Let's
Let's
see.
see.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
This
This
is
is
too
too
funny.
funny.
All
All
right.
right.
Well,
Well,
I don't know how to I
I
don't
don't
know
know
how
how
to
to
get
get
rid
rid
of
of
this
this
person.
person.
All right, let me do it this way, I guess. Yeah, okay, let me get rid of you. All right, kick. See you later. I got a kick out of that. But I got saved by the game of baseball. But the biggest thing that came into my life was I became an addict. Now I had two more children with my first. It lasted 8 years, and I took my daughter. She kept my youngest son, and my son went with me. And my mother raised my daughter, which she's got a beautiful family. Her husband has a doctorate. My daughter has a master's degree. My grandkids are wonderful. My grandson just started college, and I don't talk much about them. I try to have the best relationship I can with all my kids. My heart and my soul, my youngest son Dominic, he just got married. He just got a big promotion at work, and he married a woman that her brother's an A-list actor named Miles Teller, and my brother's in that family now. My son's in that family now, and my son has changed his whole life around. He's 34, and he's got a lot of big dreams, and he's so intelligent that the CEO told him he sees him being a CEO someday of his job. That's how intelligent he is, and he's doing. When they started him out in his new position, they gave him 10,000 more than what they normally get a seasoned manager. They gave him 10,000 more as a rookie manager that never no experience because they see the potential in him. So I'm very proud of him. I got my youngest daughter who's deaf, profoundly deaf, and there was a tragedy back about 10 years ago. I don't really want to talk about it tonight, but we will talk about it. My daughter is in prison and she'll be home in 84 days. She's profoundly deaf, and I can't wait till she comes home so we can get her life back on track. And then my middle son is in Illinois. He went home to take care of his mother who passed away, and he stayed there and he worked. He's a hardworking kid, but didn't do much in school. So I got 2 kids. I got 5 kids total that are my natural kids, and then I married Christina, who had 2 children, and Michael Francesi, who's one of our members and a good dear friend of mine, will tell you that he counseled me when we got indicted for the federal case for FEMA and me for making a false statement, and he gave us some good advice. But he also knows that while we were in prison, we lost our daughter. Christina's 21-year-old daughter, my daughter, I always called her my daughter, Savannah Marie, passed away. They found her in her bedroom, cold and naked, and something didn't fit. And the police says they couldn't get no one to come forth to the guy she was living with. And this man was a bad man. Everybody's afraid to say anything. So they ruled my daughter. They pushed my daughter into a freezer, cooler, and they ruled it an over just another common overdose, and that didn't sit well with us. And he finally just got arrested. He's going to do about 5 or 6 years. It ain't enough justice. This man's no good. From what I understand, he put a gun to my grandson's head, and and he made my daughter do things that if she didn't do it, he shouldn't have killed my grandson. This is what I heard. I don't know if there's any truth to that, but I did get one person to confirm that it happened, but they wouldn't testify against that. So they were scared. I don't know what for. You should be scared of nobody. A man should be afraid of nothing. A man should be able to walk like a man, and a woman should be treated like a woman and treated with love and tenderness. And she's the backbone for her family. Without a good woman, you're nothing. I think my friend Michael Francesi can tell you that because he left 30 something years ago. He was a capo regime in the Colombo crime family. And people are saying, what kind of president are you going to be? Because I'm transparent. I'm not no phony. I'm going to let you know who I am and what I'm about. I want you to know me and see that I'm the real deal. And I will fight harder, tooth and nail for each of one of you to get this country back on track. I share a lot of the same views with Michael. I share a lot of the same views with one of our other members, Tim, who is a city councilman in Ohio, district ward, first ward. I was supposed to meet with Tim today. He must have got tied up with family. I was hoping he would come and join us here. He seems like a good man, and he likes some of my reform bills, and he said he was sold, and he supports me now. And I need people to get on. I need people to go out to different states. People in your state, if you want to be a volunteer to help get signatures, we have to go. We have to go through the usually with the Department of Motor Vehicles, the election board. Find out if we need to fill out any pre forms. Some of them require me to register in that state. Some of them just say go ahead and get the form as long as it's this form and this is how many signatures you need. This is the time frame you got. There's various ways, but I need to get volunteers. I need to get on the ballot. If I get on the ballot, I'm gonna push so hard to win because the independent is gonna win. There's gonna be an upset finally in life. An independent will win, whether it's me, I don't know, but I'm sure saying it's gonna be me. Catalano for America 2028 is our legal party. That's what we belong to. Catalano for America 2028, an independent presidential candidate. I'm registered with the FEC. I'm registered with Florida. Excuse me. And I have to learn how to give speeches and not do this. But this is just a practice. These are all practice for me to get together with my community. I got to learn here. And I need your support and I need your help. I've got no campaign funds coming in because I'm running grassroots. So anything that could be helped, anything $5, $10 that goes right, you could go on raisethemoney.org, J Catalano, and the funds go directly into the campaign bank account that's set up in New York and Washington with one of the top banks that handles majority of the politicians' campaign money. Very good bank, and I was accepted there because I'm a president's candidate, I guess. They can't deny it. My promise to this, I want to make a solemn promise to each and every one of you. I can't guarantee anything because if I do, I'd be lying. I can guarantee this. If you help me get in office, I will fight hard for you every single day that I'm in office, and I will never let up. We'll get change because change is coming. So I just want to read off some of these things that I think are important. We got about 30 more minutes. If anybody's going to join us, I'd be happy to. If not, you'll see the recording. I want to read a little brief statement to get to know each and every one of you. My name is Joseph Samuel Catalano III, and I'm running for President of the United States in 2028. I'm honored to be here tonight. And I want to thank each and every one of you for watching. But before we talk about policy, I want to talk about something more important, way more than policy. It's a simple 5-letter word called trust. Trust is everything. And I think that's where this country lost. I don't believe the American citizens trust their politicians anymore. They don't trust the word they're saying. And that's why I know for a fact an independent, has a great chance to break records this year. It's time. It's time for a change. I also think it's time to push out some of these old senators and these congressmen because most of them are corrupt. I have a list that I have here. I call it Operation Rotten Apple, and it lists all the good senators and all the bad senators. I'm not here to trash anybody. I'm just keeping an eye on who I can trust and who I can't trust. And I have my list here of the people I can't trust. And I don't here to publicly humiliate them. I just know that they're on the list about people that I can't trust. So I'm grateful. It's been a long night. I'm grateful for the opportunity to that people take the time to help me with this stuff because it's stuff that's important. If we're gonna listen, we can't go in and just be all over the place. This has to be structured. We have to go to the root of the problem because here's what I believe in. Here's my slogan: honesty and integrity can still win the White House by fixing the root of the problem. Is that not true? So I'm really putting my work in here to learn everything I can about being a politician, about our laws. I know what laws I want to change. So they're going to be here soon, and we're going to greet them with. I'm so sorry. I apologize for everything because I'm just. The truth of the matter is, about 2 hours ago, we almost were killed on the highway. My wife and I. My wife lost control for a minute on the car, and we did completely 3 190 turns, three of them, and we landed in the middle of the highway, and thank God all the people that were coming in each lane saw it, and plenty enough time to stop, put the brakes on, and block anybody from going through. But one car did get past us, and we didn't hit nothing. The only thing she hit was those flickers, those flicker things, those plastic flicker things. And when you're going into the express lane, and it actually at the rate at 70 miles an hour, those little flicker things, it tore my bumper up. But other than that, she avoided with the grace of God or an angel on her shoulder. She did everything right, but she broke. I told her, if you ever get in like a snowstorm and you're going downhill and you start like, and your car's going on out of the way, don't brake. Worst thing you do. Try to just go the opposite of the wheel. Just keep getting it till you try to get straight, which she did. And then when you think you need to give it a break, when you need to brake, then you do only when you're ready, when it needs to be done. When she panicked a little bit and she broke a little hard, and that's what spun the car around. And by the grace of God, every person in every lane coming at us had seen it plenty of times, stopped to block no one coming through to see what we were going to do. And we stopped right before the wall. If we would have hit that wall, we might have been in serious critical condition. So I'm grateful, 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 grateful. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. It's been a rough week. So I'm a little distraught from this almost losing my life. I couldn't live myself. If I lived and my wife died, I would have. If that would have been. I'd be vice versa. That would not have been a good for me. So thank God nobody got hurt. Not even the cars. Car got a little, like I said, pulled a little plastic. The car got a little damage on it, but not much. We didn't hit nothing. All she hit was the little sticker things that stick out. When you're going in express lanes, they look like a bunch of plastic tips that they come out of the ground. And she did a great job. I got to tell you, my wife handled it very well. I taught her some things that it's important, especially when you wipe it out in a car accident. You want to keep as loose as you can. And I'm so sorry. I'm so tired. I just it's been a long day, and I have to pace myself at a normal level because I've got a lot of work ahead of me. Right now, it's just me going out and getting signatures, and I got Tim, who's a councilman in Ohio, and according to him, he's basically endorsed me, and he's team Joseph Catalano, and he has a lot of great ideas. I read a lot of his stuff that he sent me, and the man's a genius, if you ask me, because either he's inside my. Oh, we got Lou. Big Lou is here. Big Lou's here. Let's say hello to Lou. Let's see. How do I bring Lou in? Let's see. Lou coming in. Let's see. Lou. All right, Lou. Camera on. How do I do this, Lou? Lou, you there? unpin from allow video. Okay, allow video, and um, allow audio. All right, Lou, are you there? Hello? Turn on your volume, Lou. Hello? You have to turn on your camera and your volume, Lou. Hello?
You hear me now?
I hear you, but I don't see you.
Because I didn't turn my camera on.
Well, turn your camera on there, everybody.
I don't want to turn my camera on.
This is you need to turn your camera on because I need to see who I'm talking to.
Really? You see my fucking avatar.
Well, wait a second. Now this is a political debate. This ain't a satire. This ain't a satire. This is the other side of it. You're here to support the campaign. This is a serious discussion here that we're taping for all our constituents.
You're taping this?
Yes, this is recording. Yes, and anybody I sent an invitation to could come in like you did, and
Ooh.
there he is. Everybody, I like it.
Ooh.
As I talked a little bit about my life, people, about my podcast and my channel. This is from my other world. This is my streaming partner, and his name is Lou. And he has his nickname, and we all have screen names, and he is a great man, and he's my friend, and we live close together in Tampa, and Lou supports me a lot, and he's a good friend. I was just telling people, we got a lot of work ahead of us, and I was just reading a little statement, and we're just talking about I want people to get to know me, so I was just giving out my life story to them. I almost died about 2 hours ago. Christina fell asleep behind the wheel at 70 miles an hour.
Are you fucking serious?
Yeah, it was bad. And she was remarkable. She prevented going into the wall. We spun 3 times. We were in the express lane on the veterans. I go, Christina. I kept saying, Christina. She got go right hand on the wheel. She did brake one time wrong. When she broke, it threw us out into the 4 lanes. But the cars coming at all the lanes saw it just in plenty of time to stop to give Christina plenty of room to. She spun 3 times. We almost flipped, and she handled it so well. I was so proud of her.
Why was she tired?
Well, I don't know. It just happened. She said because she said I was tired. She was trying to help me out. She goes, "Honey, you look like you're tired. Let me drive." I said, "Okay." I said, "Okay, honey." So she was fine, but when she got behind the wheel, she said she got all of a sudden she just got a little sleepy, and she closed her eye for 2 seconds, Lou. 2 seconds, and we could have been dead, and we could have killed all the 3 or 4 family cars. But everybody handled their part, and you know what? Not a scratch on us, not a scratch on the car. She didn't hit no wall. All she hit was those little stickers, the little plastic sticker things that are on when you're going in the express lane, and nothing. And she did it, and she saved us. And I tell you what, my heart didn't even pound. I was just, Christina, you got to do this. You can do this. You can do this. Control the car. Because I taught her, if you ever get in a situation you're going to spin or wipe out, flip, do not brake too hard. She did brake one time, and it was a little hard. And as soon as she broke, that car went flying over into the main highway. And thank God those cars were far enough to stop. They blocked all 4 lanes, and then they all got out to make sure we were okay. And everybody was fine. Nobody had any accident or nothing. We could have caused a 7-car pileup. It could have caused a lot of deaths. And we're just, thank God we made it home. So I'm a little distraught right now. So
distraught that you want to put on your Republican colors.
Yeah, no, I'm not Republican. I'm an independent. We don't run Republican. We don't run I'm
why
an
are you wearing a
independent.
red tie?
Well, because I like red. I think red is very presidential. I think.
Red symbolizes Republican.
Well, I know. So what would an independent wear? What was your opinion?
Anything not blue or red.
Okay, well, then I tell you what, that's good to know because I
should wear green since you're representing the
green
Green
is
Party.
becoming my favorite color. You know that? It's funny you said that. But I just like this is what I'm going to do on a Saturday. I'm going to have it's called coffee and tea, and you come and have coffee and tea in here, and hopefully we'll get we'll get. I was supposed to have a meeting at 4:00 with the state representative of the city council in his town in Ohio, Tim, and we were supposed to have a meeting at 4:00, but something got postponed on his end. But I'm just talking.
Oh.
I'm just going to go ahead and keep on talking. It's recorded so they can have it for them. So like I was saying, everybody, a little bit more about myself. Across the country, millions of Americans feel like their voices are no longer heard in Washington. And that's a fact. There's a lot of people that are done with the blue and done with the red. They don't want Republicans. They don't want Democrats. They want fresh blood. And there's one thing that I agree when I was talking with Councilman Tim from Ohio is we're in the future. We got to think the future. We got to think big for the future. And the one thing I agree with him 110% is everybody in the Senate and Congress are too old. If you're 75, 80 years old, you can't make rational decisions. Not every one of them are going to be sound mind. They've been in office for 40, 50 years. And I think he's right. They should have a cutoff date when these guys have to retire. I think they must retire at a certain age. You got to cut them off at a certain age. So we need new blood. We need to revamp the whole Congress and the whole Senate. We need fresh blood, young guys, 30 to 40 years old, who got a little bit of experience in politics, but are ready to take the Senate seat with all new, fresh ideas. This country could be fixed. It doesn't need to be pointing fingers and blaming this one and blaming that one. It's too late for that. It's beyond that. But we've been getting the same stuff for 40 years, people. The same routine. We need new blood to go to the next generation. We need to carry us into the future. And the future can be very beautiful for the United States. Now, I did touch on this a little while ago. Some people got mixed views about what happened in Iran. Now, I'll say this. I do see a lot of people stepping up now saying, putting it like this. They wanted to build a nuclear bomb. Where do you think they wanted to put that nuclear bomb? Think about that. Where do you think they wanted to bomb? I can promise you it was probably America. I think they're probably right about that. That man hated us for 40-something years, and he's kept this country oppressed for 47 years. They're free now. Let them be happy. And I've got to say, and I'm not taking sides, but I think as a president, he made the right call. And I believe if I was in office, I would have made that call too. You would have had to make that call because that was a direct threat to the United States. I believe strongly that that's the signal I picked up on. So in that respect, I send out a fine thank you for protecting us in that matter, because I think it was the right decision. I don't say I agree with everything with him, but I definitely would agree with that. And so I hope people understand that he's just trying to make this country safer. By that move, that proves that he does care about this country.
Bro, he wanted to fucking fuck with the minerals and the oil.
Right, but
Don't let the
right.
fucking nuclear portion of this fool you.
Right. And
that's what the media is spinning. There's more at play.
And you know, the media is going to spin what they want to spin or what he tells them to spin if he controls any of the media power, which I'm sure he does. That's the other problem in office. You got so much one-sided where people control too much of one thing. We can't have that. That becomes corruption. That becomes bribery. That becomes people being bought. That becomes people doing favors for their friends in high and high places. This is what problem is with our United States. There's too many people doing too many things, not caring to do it for the right reasons. We got, I don't know if you people know, we're $33 trillion in debt, number one. That's not chicken feed. That's not pocket money. That's a lot of money. We have besides the 33 million trillion in debt, we got people that these senators who waste taxpayers' money on all the they get up there and they tell you this, then they don't want to pass anything that's good. They want to vote against it, and then all they do is take. The same routine as nothing's changed for 40 years. They get up there, they smile in the camera, they tell you a bunch of what you want to hear, and then they go away and nothing gets done. So my suggestion is we go to the root and we rebuild the right way. We nurture it and we rebuild it and we build it to earn the trust back of we must get the trust back of the American people. Once we get that, we restore honor and trust and integrity with the people. Then we can start building to make changes for the good. And I believe strongly there's never been an independent to be close. The closest one was Ross Perot, where he had 19% of the votes. That was the first and only independent that got that high. A couple of them got 4%. Most of them average about 1 or 2%. But because they're afraid of the independent, the red and the blue, they're afraid. They know that we got the freedom. We got the free minds. We're the ones that are going to think outside the box. We're the ones that's going to have the right, intelligent way to do it, not the way they want to manufacture it and the way they want to set it up for themselves. Okay, it's a power struggle. It's about you got a power struggle going on with all the rich. Who's got this? Who's going to take that? That's got to stop. This country's going right down the toilet. We're in trouble. So let's fix it together as Americans. Whether it's me, but I believe an independent's going to win it this year. In 2028. I believe it's going to be an independent for the first time in history. Whether it's me or another independent, I think change is coming if you guys, and I know the people want this. I read everything, all comments people leave in other news on the news. I listen, and yes, there's a lot of fake news. You can't believe everything you hear in the newspaper, but there's a lot of American people I've talked to. This week alone, I talked to 100 different people. I was just out talking, and every place I stopped, I just got in a conversation with people, just a normal conversation, and I start talking. How do you feel this country is? What's your, stuff, questions? And he goes, well, I tell you what, I'm done voting as a Republican, or I'm done voting as a Democrat. I won't vote. And I got people that have told me, that know me, they're not voting with nobody. But if I really get on the ballot, they're going to vote for me, just because that I'll be the guy to vote. One, they know me and they know my heart. I got a lot of work to do, but I tell you what, I'm going to fight to the end for you guys. And I just learned something new today. Wearing a red tie means I didn't know that. Thank God Lou's here.
It could
But I
mean
want to wrap
anything,
this
but,
up. We got a few more minutes, and I want to finish reading this little statement. Many
You got
people feel the
20 more
government become
minutes.
disconnected from everyday life. I understand those frustrations because I didn't spend my life inside politics at all. I'm not a politician. I grew up in Chicago, in a place where life teaches you tough lessons early in life. Like I said, I started mopping floors and shining shoes at 9 years old. My father left, and my mother couldn't afford anything. I bought diapers home for my baby sister and formula every day. I worked for that. And then I got blessed with a job at Wrigley Field that saved me from being probably in a gang and get me in a lot more trouble. So I felt blessed. My grandparents
gang.
left me. That's right. I could have been killed by the time I was 18. I was a father at 17, so I never had a normal teenage life. I went from working at 9 to 10 years old to becoming the father to my brothers and sisters. I'm just trying to get you guys to understand the man that I am, and how I'm built, and how many times I got knocked down and got back up and fight and drive. I've been through to the moon 100 times back and forth with a lot of struggles in my life, and I struggled with. That's why my campaign must be 100% transparent. I must let you learn me inside and out and see the kind of man I am and how I will fight for the right way for this country. And I got a lot to learn. The whole political end I got to learn, which I have to do, and I do little bits every day. But you know what? As long as I'm a leader, and as long as I'll be in there to fight and grind, that's all gravy. It'll all come naturally. You'll pick it up. Whenever you do on-job training, you learn stuff and you become better and better as you do it. And the more you do it, the more better you become. Like many Americans, my path through life wasn't perfect. I faced struggles, made mistakes, and I learned hard lessons along the way. And I mean hard lessons. But those experiences taught me something powerful. People can rebuild their lives. They can. It's a proven fact. I'm a living proof of that. Over time, I worked to rebuild mine. By learning discipline, responsibility, and perseverance. And those lessons shaped the reason I'm standing here tonight. They made me the man I am. My mistakes shaped me to the man that I am tonight. And I did some hard lessons, and I put myself through a lot of stuff, but it shaped me to the man I am today. And a man that is a real man that will fight for what he believes in and for what you believe. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat nothing and say, yeah, you can just. I can't make no promises because I've got a lot of work, but I will fight to make sure that we get it done. And my staff and the people that work with me will all be on the same page. And the American people will have a voice again. We're going to get our American soldiers that are sleeping on Thunder viaducts, that are homeless, off the street. There's no sense for anybody to be homeless in this world. Not when we send billions of dollars to other countries. We have to cut that off. We have to stop that. We have to leave them at the border. We cannot give no money, no funding to any foreign country until we fix ourselves. That's a fact. We do this. We stand for this. We fix our own, take care of our own people, and we let the people get involved and let the people have a word. It's supposed to be, we work for the people. Government works for the people. They're supposed to have the voice. They're supposed to tell us what needs to be done. They're supposed to help us and be part of it. They're cut out. American people are confused. They got no say in anything. What is that telling us? That's telling us this ain't free. There's nothing free here if we get to voice our opinion. If democracy is being laughed at, it's not right. And like I said, I'm not one that was ever would want to talk about politics because I didn't trust none of them. That was my opinion. And I was probably catch right about most of them. But the days of having to push the blame are over because they're not going to let you can sit here and blame all day. You can point fingers all day long at everybody in Senate, Congress, U.S. representatives, governors, everything. I mean, let's here's a fact that I know most people know. Excuse me, I'm looking for my water. Do you know the last 10 governors in Illinois, 6 of them went to prison? That's a fact. 6 of the last 10 governors in Illinois went to prison. That's not by coincidence. That's how corrupt Illinois is. And that's where I grew up at. Cook County is a hell of a place to grow up in. It's nothing but corruption. And a lot of people taking money in envelopes to get people free of a lot of crimes they did. We had Operation Greylord. I went through Operation Greylord as a teenager. I was a bunch of judges, deputy sheriffs, lawyers, defense lawyers. One of my best friends at school, Dean Wilson, Jewish guy. His father was one of the top-notch criminal lawyers in all of Chicago, named Dean Wilson Sr. He went to prison in Operation Greylord. He was the king of bribing judges in cases, getting guys off of murder, drug cases. He was the best. Little short, little Jewish fella. Knew his father well. And my friend Dean, he was a good kid. He went through hell with his father went away to prison, but his father came out, and his life was changed. But that's what corruption does. I led a path of a lot of wild things that, you know what I got out of it at the end of the day? A lot of heartaches. I got arrested. I went to prison. And you know what? None of it's worth it. There's nothing worth you losing your freedom. Nothing. So over time, I worked a real mind, like I said, and those lessons shaped the reason why I'm standing here tonight. Because if people can rebuild their lives, then America can rebuild its future. Remember this. If people can rebuild their lives, America can rebuild their future. Because it takes people to rebuild the future of America. So if those people can rebuild their lives, those same people can rebuild America. And that's what we need to do, is stand as one to do that. We first must protect our communities. We must protect our children. We must put a stop to our children being human trafficked. That's why I've got the American Child Recovery, Trafficking, and Deterrence Survivor Justice Act that I put together, that I want to get put in place. Now, a lot of these, one thing that I do when I come up and I'm thinking about what I want to do, the first thing I research is what presidents put this already in place. That's the first thing I do. I want to know what presidents have something like this in place. Which most of the stuff I got, there's prison reform. And I want to know where they failed and what they did that worked and what failed. And you want to know something? Every president with prison reform, when they added something, they took something big away. The formula didn't work. So they failed miserably. And I have every president in all my folders of what they did right, what they did wrong to compare. So I'm not doing anything new. I'm making it better. I'm fixing the root of the problem because I lived it. So a person that lived it, experienced it, has a better insight to what needs to be done. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all, any of this, if we can't get the people behind us to believe in this, to see this. Because I'm sure a lot of people want crime to go down in their neighborhoods. I'm sure you want your kids to be safe. I'm sure you want your grandkids to be safe. I can guarantee that safety is one of the most top-notch things people want in the community. So I think people will listen to this. And people the other day, I was talking about this, chewed me up thinking, you want to let prisoners out. And that hit me in a very bad way, that they took my whole thing out of context the wrong way. So I started thinking, that's not my intention. I don't want to let people out of prison. I had never even made that argument. My argument is this, and I went even deeper, and I just did this today, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about it, but I'm going to present this probably on Wednesday night after I do my other show. I'll have a on my YouTube campaign channel where I'm going to go over this, but I'm going to talk a little bit about what I meant, because people really got misinformed or misread me, thinking I want to let out every prisoner. That's not what I said. So I made a very strong eligibility list of who cannot be eligible for this program, and I'm looking for it. I don't know. I wasn't going to do this today, but if I can find it real quick, I will tell you. If not, you'll have to wait till Wednesday. But I think once you see this presented this way, you'll get a better understanding of what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to make your neighborhood safer. I'm trying to lower recidivism. I'm trying to get people, from the good people that have made mistakes, just have to not go back to prison again by giving them a chance in society to rebuild their lives the way they had when they were family men or whatever derailed them, to give them a second chance. By any means do I mean anything that has anybody that's done a crime that is harmful to anybody. They are not even eligible. If I could find this, it says put America first. No, that's not it. I got it here in my files. I just did this today, so I wasn't prepared to talk about it, but I got a few minutes. If I can find it, I'll talk a little bit about it. Obviously, a lot of people didn't make it, so they'll have to see the tape. And I'm just going to leave the tape raw. I'm not even going to edit it out. I'm just going to put it up. I think it's
How many
better to be
people
that way.
usually join this?
Was my first one.
Oh, okay.
My first one. I have 7 members signed up. I'm trying to get more people. It's free. I'm trying to get more people that are involved in politics to come on board. So I just, it's going to take time. You know, Rome wasn't built in a day. We got to grow. But I do got a lot of people that reach out to me in other states now that want to help me with my campaign. They're asking me for their what forms they got to, you know, where do we go get the kit? How do we register? So I've got people that are interested in a lot of places. Okay, here it is right here. This is what my change is. So it says, this is what I said. It says guiding principles. Public safety will come first. I want to make this very clear compared to my talk the other day. Violent offenders must serve their full sentence. Violent offenders, they get no eligibility. Second chance must earn only non-violent offenders who demonstrate real rehabilitation qualities. Victims are never forgotten. We must never forget the victims in any case. That's the first and foremost, because we have a tendency of doing that. Forget about the victims. You go to a lot of court proceedings, and especially in trials of murder trials or serial killer trials. The victims always get forgotten. We must never forget the victims because they suffered. We must reduce repeat crimes. This is what this is about. Because you got this when you have no reform, a lot of people go to prison and they were not meant to go to prison the first time, but then they got no reform. They're called to the test of someone approaching them that's going to hurt them or shank them, and now they have to be demonstrate they're a man. They're going to survive this, and then they do. Then they start learning about more crime, and they come out. Now they're educated in criminals to be better criminals, and they just go right through the circle. I had a friend 8 times. Finally, this judge said I had enough. He didn't deserve life in prison because he didn't murder nobody. He didn't rob nobody. He didn't stab nobody. He didn't do nothing to hurt anybody. He sold drugs. Bad enough. But he would never sell to children. And he said, like he put it, the junkies are going to go somewhere. I'm out. If I can't get prison reform, this is all I know why for my little kid. And that's what he did. But he paid the price. He got life in prison for being a drug dealer. And a murderer got out. 5 murderers got out last week after doing 25 years. He's got to spend the rest of his natural life in prison for selling drugs. So I'm hoping laws change, because if laws change in his favor, then he can be released. And if I can help that, because he doesn't deserve it, he was a good guy. He really was. He just had a baby. Just got married. He was changing his whole life. He was trying. He says, I'll learn a trade on my own. He started becoming a mechanic. He started becoming a good mechanic. Unfortunately, they caught up to him. So reduce crime, like I said, successful rehabilitation lowers recidivism and straightens communities. Reduce repeat crimes. If you lower them and cut them in half, successful rehabilitation lowers recidivism and straightens communities. Permanent disqualification crime. Here's the key important I want people to understand so they understand what I meant. The following offenses permanently disqualify inmates from early rehabilitation or reintegration programs. They're not eligible. These people cannot even be eligible at any point in their life. Anybody in prison for first-degree murder never could apply. Serial murderers cannot comply. Mass casualty attacks cannot apply. Terrorists causing death cannot apply. Child sex abuse or molestation cannot apply. Child trafficking cannot apply. Child exploitation crimes cannot apply. Human trafficking involving minors definitely cannot apply. Kidnapping of a child, sorry, you don't get to be eligible for the program. Murder of a law enforcement officer, you're not going to no program, you're not seeing the daylight. Murder of a firefighter or first responder, forget it. You heard a first responder, you're probably going to get the needle in your arm if I have anything to do with it. These type of crimes, we're wasting too much money on trials. We got the evidence. We don't need to waste the time. We just put them away, and that's it. They're animals. You don't let animals out of a cage. And most animals you got to put down at some point. That's a fact. And I'm not saying nothing against human beings, but you're not a human when you become this. You took out humanity when you become these type of crimes. You're not a human no more. You can't look at them as a human no more. And that's what another problem with this country. We're too soft on them. We let them do whatever they want because you got corruption within the prisons. You got corrupted guards. You got corrupted lieutenants. Corruption is everywhere. Money is the root to all evil. People get bought every day for like I was saying about my podcast, and there's a lot of people in there that think because they got money, they make jokes like, I could buy him for $20 and make him walk on all fours like a dog. These are what the mentality of these people. I give this guy $20, he'll do what I tell him to do. That's the sick-minded person. Very sick-minded person to think that. If you think you got that kind of power and that you could say something about a human being that your $20 will get him to do anything you want, you got a little wrap around your head, pal. Murder of law enforcement, as I said, torture resulting in death. Anybody who commits to torture, murder during sexual assault. So if someone's assaulting a woman and he murders, he don't get out. Even in a sexual assault, he don't get out. Murder during kidnapping, murder for hire. Okay, crimes against humanity, chemical or biological attacks causing death, multiple homicides during robberies, repeat murder offenders, organized crime executions, school shootings. Forget it. No, they don't see daylight. Domestic terrorists causing death, murder of a judge of a court officer, murder of a correctional officer, murder during prison riots or escapes. These offenders must serve the full jurisdiction sentence, whether it's 20, 30, or life. They'll never be eligible for any programs. So I want to make that clear. When people came at me and say, you're just a criminal and you want to let all criminals out. You're wrong. I was a person that committed crimes. I was a person that made amends. I was accountable, and people evolved to change. People could change. If I could change, this country could change for the better. If people like me could change every day to be a good person and be a stable person and be a good citizen in this world, it doesn't matter. I'm not the same man I was at 40, 50, 30, 20. If anybody from my past tries to come into my life and say, man, I know you, man. This guy you should see it, and tells that rap to somebody, and I'm going to look at him and say, bro, I'm not 30 no more. I'm not the same man you know. I haven't seen you in 20 years. I'm a whole different wall. I'm a grandfather. I'm a man that believes in justice. I made mistakes. You're still stuck in the same place. That's you, not me. Don't ever think I'm the same person. Because if any man that thinks he's the same at his age today, if you're 50 and you think you're the same man at 40, then you need to go see a psychiatrist. Because we're not. If you're evolving the way you're supposed to in life, you're not the same person. I could never stomach what I did in my 20s or 30s today. I am so sick. Don't think of it. I get sick of it. How some things you have to do in life just to survive. It is what it is. A lot of people are put up in this position. A lot of people have been in this position. So eligible nonviolent offenders. Now, here's the people that can apply for it. So we're very clear on this. Offenders convicted of a nonviolence crime may qualify for rehabilitation programs if strict standards are met. We're not going to just hand them the keys to the schoolhouse and say, okay, impress us. And a lot of them might be conning you just to do the program so they can get into the halfway house so they get out and, get out that way to get out of prison. We're not stupid. We know how to trap people. We know how to see if you're lying to us. You'll be going through a lot of psychological tests. You'll be seeing psychiatrists. You'll be going through a lot to prove to us that you really want this program, want to better yourself. So drug possession people, anybody drug possession charge, you got a problem. You're eligible for this program to get into school, to get yourself a viable career, a certificate with a good career. Stuff that HVAC pays a lot of money. You become an HVAC guy, you make a lot of money. You really do. These are being a plumber, a trade, anything with trades like that make big money. You will come out and have a job with good money, be able to be able to buy a car without having to steal a car. You'll be able to buy groceries without going to the grocery store to steal groceries. You'll be able to pay for your apartment because you got money. You'll be able to save money. You'll be able to maybe someday meet somebody, fall in love, get married, have children, have a family of your own, and be a productive citizen. This is how we lower recidivism.
7:00.
Yes, I got 7 o'clock. I'm going to read this real quick and then we're off, everybody. I got to go. I got to get going. Burglary without violence, fraud and finance crimes, forgery, identity theft. Identity theft, I put in there, but I'm a victim of identity theft, so I'm kind of a little upset about it, but I can't use my own personal thing. It's still a white-collar crime, but it's a harsh one. It's a bad one. Property damage, shoplifting, possession of stolen property, check fraud, credit card fraud, nonviolent probation violence, nonviolent parole violations, and gaming offenses, nonviolent conspiracy charges, illegal firearm possessions without violence, counterfeiting. Counterfeiting, we might have a problem with the Secret Service because they might not allow those guys to go out because to the Secret Service, that's a very serious crime, counterfeiting. So nonviolent tax crimes, low-level drug trafficking, nonviolent racketeering involvement, first-time burglar offenses. These are the people who are eligible. Now, this is just, we might not get all these people. We might, if we get into the House and someone backs us and they put it on paper and they vote for it, they might take some of that off. These are just ideas. This is how we're going to show how it can work. I'm going to continue this on Wednesday. I thank everybody. If you were just watching and didn't want to jump in, we thank you. I thank my friend Lou for showing up and supporting me. I got to go. I have a show at 8 o'clock. I have an award show, and I got to get going here, folks. I got to finish setting that up. Lou, thanks for stopping by. You're more than welcome to come in and watch me on the other show. You know that. You know how to get in there. Everybody, I'm Joseph Samuel Catalano III, and I hope tonight I got better acquainted with you, and I just wanted to show the real me. And I won't be wearing a red tie anymore, so I'm going to take this off right now, and I'm going to go to a green tie or a purple tie, but I won't wear red and I won't wear blue, now that I know this for be a fact. See, I learned something today. So, everybody, I'm Joseph Samuel Catalano III. I'm a presidential candidate for 2028. I need your help to get on the ballot in each state. Together, let's build this country in the right way. And you know what? Anything's possible. And change, if I could change, America could change. God bless America, and God bless you, and we'll talk to you later. Joseph Catalano out. Take care. All right, Lou, I'll talk to you later, buddy. Thank you for coming. All right.
Still recording.
It's not recording, is it?
I still see it recording.
It should be stopped. I think it stopped. Stop.